Hey everyone, good evening. Welcome to the BC Lions Coaches Playbook. I'm your moderator for this evening. My name is Tyler. Tonight is our third installment of a series of 5 different seminars we're having each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. We have 2 more concluding the Coaches Playbook series coming up on October 28th and finishing off on November 4th. I want to thank you everyone for joining us tonight. And if this is your first one, I'm real happy here, as well if this is your second or third one. Thank you for joining us tonight on defensive line play. We want to thank both partners, Bosa Construction and GML Mechanical, for helping us put on the Coaches Playbook. Without their support, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you both Bosa Construction and GML Mechanical. Tonight, like I said, we're talking about defensive line play. The first 45 minutes or so you're going to be hearing from our guests. And in the last 10, 15 minutes, depending, we're going to hear some questions from anyone watching tonight. You can use the chat function here to ask questions at any time during the presentation. We'll try and answer as many as we can, but there's no promise that we'll get to all of them. But yeah, if you do have questions, please use the chat function and you can ask any time. With that being said, let me introduce you to our guest tonight. He is CFL Hall of Fame member class of 2015, BC Lions defensive line coach, Leroy Blugh. Leroy, how you doing?
Good, thanks. Thank you very much. Getting ready to go?
Ready to go, yep.
All right. Hey guys, I'm Leroy Blugh, the D-line coach for the Lions. Haven't actually had a chance to coach yet, but hey, good luck and good willing, we'll get that opportunity. You might be wondering who I am or don't know very much about me, but you might say, who is this guy? But anyway, you heard Tyler, but I'll give you a little bit more of a background here. I'm from Napanee, Ontario. Okay, I attended high school here. It's actually where I am right now for 5 years and played football. I then attended Bishop's University in Quebec for 4 years and 4 years of football. I then went on to play for the Edmonton Football Club for 11 years, and then the Argos for 4 years, 15 years. Yeah, like I've got written there, I've been hitting the head a lot, so bear with me. After I finished playing, I came back and was teaching, and then got the opportunity to go to Bishop's University, where I was the head coach for 6 years. After leaving Bishop's, I decided to come home and coached at Queen's University for 2 years, and then had the opportunity to go to Edmonton for half a season, and was a D-line coach for 1 full season, and then came home and played coach with the Red Blacks for 6 years, and now here I am. I'm here with Coach Campbell and the staff to help the Lions reload. So I played this game to have fun, to win, but mostly to become part of a team with everybody pulling in the same direction. You know, that was really important to me. It's good to be part of a group, you know, reaching out for a common goal. I coach this game because there's nothing better than working with players and seeing the results of that work show up on film. I coach to win, but still make it fun and have fun doing it. So some of the things we'll be talking about today are characteristics of good D linemen: stance, alignment, aiming point, some rush keys, get off drills. We'll discuss pad level. We'll discuss in-out pass rush technique, movement. Okay, good hand play. We'll talk about some specific pass rushes, stab and bull. Call it power as well. Play action pass, and we'll discuss at the end a little bit about practice tempo and how we practice. All right. Characteristics of a good defensive lineman. I really feel, a good D lineman has to have the ability to play fast and play smart. Now, it's easy to say play fast, but playing fast encompasses a lot of things. You have to be athletic. You have to have good eyes. You have to have good recognition, so that you can move fast, make fast decisions on the field, and execute what your assignment is. You also have to be able to play with discipline. So if you're on the backside of a run per se, and the quarterback could potentially pull the ball, right? You have to be disciplined to be in a good tempo on the backside to be able to play. If the run cuts back to you, or to play the quarterback if he pulls it. Also, one of the biggest things I like is the tenacity and have the desire to get there. So I think that is very important. You got to have that good motor, and you want to get the job done. I think a good D lineman also has to have quick feet and hands. Okay, quick feet allows us to create separation, allows us to pass rush, allows us to pursue in reading our keys. Quick hands are also good for separation and to keep blockers off of us. So a good defensive lineman also has to have athletic ability to coordinate his hands and his feet together to win, either versus run on a pass, shedding a block, things. So those are pretty important things that I feel are characteristics of a good D lineman. So we're first going to start off here with stance. Okay, your stance affects your start, guys. How many times have you watched film and you see someone not make a play because they were lined up in a poor stance? Maybe they had to step under themselves to move laterally, or they're in a staggered stance and don't step far enough up the field so they don't actually gain any ground. So the stance, making sure that you can get a good start is very important. For DNs, I'm a really, for DNs, to me, they can start with their inside or outside foot up. But I like to have the feet kind of toed in, pigeoned in, okay? We like our chest over our toes, right? We got to have good knee bend. Now, good knee bend is exactly what it means, okay? You can't waist bend, okay? So you can make a point of showing them a stance with someone bent over at the waist with little or no knee bend, to someone that actually has knee bend with a little chest, a little lean forward. Okay, that's what you'd like to have for men's coming off the edge. You want to have them on a tilt, okay, and hands ready. Okay, D tackles. We're going to start with inside hand down, inside foot back. Okay, but the feet, we want the width no wider than hips. We want to keep feet in line with hips and in line with the body. That is an effective way, the best way to get off the football. Everything's moving forward. Your feet are pointed forward. You're getting off the ball with everything going in the right direction, and you have you have the tension that you build up with bent knees and that lower back, flat back for inside guys to be able to uncoil and get off the ball. Now, D tackles versus run. Okay, for me, I like the balance stance versus run. They don't know which way you're going, but I've coached a lot with guys in a staggered stance, especially on first down. And that staggered stance, especially if there's too much forward lean or they're too long, really can harm themselves in getting off the football. They can be late. They can't move laterally and things. So I like to be in a balanced stance in movements. If I'm going to move laterally, which is likely, really possible on first down versus run, but it's adjustable. Not every player, not every kid is going to be able to do that. Okay, you have to adjust and make adjustments until they get a little stronger in the core and a little more hip mobility. T-tackle versus pass, like in an attack stance, not saying that balanced stance isn't an attack stance. We're still going. We're just starting from a balanced point. Okay. Attack stance, we just have a little more stagger, but we don't want to be long. We don't want our hand way out in front of us. Okay. We don't want our feet way out from under our hips. Again, it's that tension that we build up with good knee bend and keeping everything under our body. Okay, so keep hand, hips, and feet under the body. But once again, till your players are strong enough to get there, it's adjustable. Okay. For alignment, okay, D end aligned to execute. So the D end position, the alignment can be different because you may be doing things like stunts or blitzes or spiking underneath. Okay. All right, so we want to make sure that we can align to execute those things, okay? We want to be square versus tight ends or fullbacks in the wing. Again, we're expecting run, but as a base, that's a good place to start. And again, our stance and alignment will change due to running stunts, or maybe crushing a tackle off the edge, maybe spiking underneath, or maybe we've got additional blitzers coming. Okay, it helps to know the down and distance for a good as a run pass indicator, especially if you're running stunts, blitzes, and spikes. So it gives you a good idea whether your opponent is going to be throwing the ball or running the ball. Okay. For the D ends, okay, as a good alignment, a width of about 2 yards from outside the O-line, outside the tackle is good, but we want our angle of entry where our aiming point is the near hip of the quarterback. So if we have that aiming point at the near hip of the quarterback, if he is indeed going to hand the ball off, okay, we'll be able to see if the ball comes out right off the back hip of the running back, which will be right there at the hip of the quarterback. Okay, D tackles, we want eyes up. We have to be able to read our keys. And one of the things we want to align square, okay, and know that your run blocker will come find you. Okay, so we have our keys, but if the run is coming to your direction, your run blocker will come find you. Okay, so we want to be able to play fast and vertical. Okay. Okay, so we talked about being square in alignment. Okay, I'm having a little trouble seeing the rest there, Tyler. Can move it up.
Oh, sorry, you can't see the bottom of it. It says step to your aiming point versus pass.
Yeah, step to your aiming point versus pass. Again, it's adjustable on stunts. Okay, so one of the things that happens with players, they get in a stance that's too wide, okay, or they don't have a pre-indicator for pass, okay, or run, and they get in that wide base and they're stepping right out of their stance, right, straight ahead. Okay, you have to be able to step to maintain your aiming point with whatever foot that you're getting off with. Okay, with whatever foot you're getting off with, you have to do that. Okay, so one of the things that I like to say about that is excuse the language, but step on your nuts, kind of, to be able to get to the aiming point. It's a run. Okay, I put this in here because it's one of the things, again, we talked about, run or pass indicators, but I wanted to get this in here. There's some, rush keys that you can pass on to guys. So what I call rush keys is that, you can read O-line body language, whether they're light in their stance, which might indicate pass, or they're have heavy weight in their stance. So there's a little bit of a forward lean. Okay, so when you're looking at runs, you will see that. You'll also see a possible low hat with no number showing. Okay, that's just something that can maybe help pre-snap or just before the snap. If pass, you're going to see a high hat, maybe sitting back. You're going to see some numbers showing, and of course, you'll see them backing up. Okay. Also, some rush keys is, if you're facing a cut block. So these are things that you can rep. A lot of the time when O-linemen are going to cut, they kind of pop up, and then they duck down and drive forward to cut you. So that's a huge indicator of what kind of pass play that is. Okay. In play action pass, you're going to see that. You typically see that a lot on first down, of course. It's an aggressive, the O-line are aggressive, okay? Their chests are a little high, but their hands are a little high, but they're aggressively coming towards you. A lot of times it looks a lot like run, okay? Also, we have, as a rush key, is quick set. Okay, they're setting you aggressively, versus pass on the line of scrimmage. Okay, when you get these kind of sets for defensive ends and in the tackles, a lot of times it's not productive to keep running up the field, out of your rush lane. Sometimes you have to be prepared to have separation, create separation with shooting your hands and be prepared to throw your hand up in the air to block the pass. Okay, a lot of times you can see guys jump to do that, but you want to be able to create some separation, okay, so that you're not blocked while you're in the air. Okay, a lot of times it's very good to just put a hand up there. You never know. You can, obviously, if you're facing the quarterback, you want to get your hands up. Try to get a hand up on that side and try to protect those short throws just over the middle of the field. All right. So we want to be able to get off, okay? Get off the ball. And that, we just talked about your stance affecting your start, okay? So you have a little pressure in a D-tackle balance stance. Okay, we want to flatten our lower back again, talking about that tension you build in your legs and hips and back with that flat lower back, good hip mobility. Okay, a little pressure on the insides of your feet. Okay, minimal weight on that down hand. Okay. One of the things when you're either long in your stance or that hand is far out front of you, it looks cool, but it's not very efficient. Usually it makes you pop up and play too high. Okay, so we want minimal weight on that hand, legs and hips in line with the body. For a pass stance, again, the D ends, you can be a little bit longer, but it's always better to have have your feet closer to your hips and good bent knee with that pigeon toe forward. That pigeon toe on your feet, okay, it's gets a little more cleats in the ground and helps you get off the ball and can also help to eliminate those false starts and stepping back and things and not getting off efficiently. So we have some get off drills. I have some drills that I do and try to fit these things in. So I like to rotate them. But again, get off drills, having a drill depending on how much time you have in the practice. Okay, they're EDDs. You should be doing them, do something every day. So one of the drills, I'm sure some of you've heard of this. I like the simplicity of drills to be able to get exactly what I want out of them. So this, I call it the fall and drive. So we're going to stand straight up with our hands at our side, and we're going to just fall forward. And we want to stress, drive and push. So we're going to drive with one foot and push with the rear foot. Okay, so it's a simple fall forward, like you're going to fall down, and then engage your feet at the same time. Okay, so we also have the one leg drive. Okay, one leg drive. And incidentally, if the players fall down, that's good. That's okay, because they're learning how to play in that position. Okay, they're learning how to put their body in that stress to be able to balance and drive the feet. Okay, in a one leg drive, okay, we're going to stress the drive and explosive first step. So we have one leg off the ground, it's back. We really want to drive off that planted foot and push through with the rear foot. Okay, all the while stressing pad level once they get started. Okay, one of my favorite drills that I like to do is we have a landing mat, okay, or something that the players can land on, and it's a come out of hips drill. So it's burst and explosion onto a landing pad. You can do it out of a 4-point stance, which I like, and if you have time, you can get it out of a 6-point stance to help with short yardage get off. Okay, so players will get down in a 4-point, and you can snap the ball, and what you want them to do is burst and explode out of their stance and forward. Now, why I like this drill, you burst out and explode forward, not up, and land on the mat. Okay, so what I like about this drill is this is something that they don't often get to do. So even if they're on a field and working on their get off and things, this burst and explosion landing on the mat is crucial. They learn how to explode, and they condition themselves to be able to do that. And if you do get offs, full speed get offs prior to this drill, and do get offs after this drill, you'll see a difference. Okay, you'll see a difference. Players just aren't used to doing that, so it's very, very good, especially at the beginning of the season, to really work coming out of their hips. Okay, so also you have to be able to get off the football, work on that, every day. We do. You can do full speed, okay, straight ahead. Again, you can do movement, 45-degree, right or left. Okay, again, maintaining pad level, coaching points to stress there, and making sure that they're not stepping under themselves in movement, but they're stepping at a sideways and up the field at the same time. Okay, and also you can, in working the 45-degree get off, okay, you can get their eyes right and retrace. So what I'm saying is redirect. Just because they're in movement in one direction doesn't mean the play is going that way. Okay, so they have to be able to get their eyes up, get off, to be able to get vertical on that movement. Okay, get a foot in the ground and redirect if the play is going away from the direction they're going. Okay, I also like doing cut drills. Now, there are lots of different ways to do cut drills. I've used the ball. I've actually used players' bodies, kneeling on the ground and lunge forward, and we want to get a hand to the head. Okay, leverage hand, and we want to clear, we want to get the head to the ground and the shoulders to the ground. Okay, and we want to clear our feet. That line is in the way there, Tyler.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't know why you can't see it, but I'll read the rest of it. How it says:
Okay.
Leverage hand to shoulder, violent press down, and clear legs to leverage. Eliminate the cut and pop the ball.
Right. Okay, so that's good. The one important thing about these cut drills is you want to make sure you eliminate the cut. How many times have you looked at game film or watched the game, and you see a player trying to play a cut block, but he's looking to try to go get off and go make the play, but he doesn't get the offensive lineman to the ground. He doesn't eliminate that block, so he can go ahead and find the ball and make the play. So we want to make sure that we can eliminate the cut and clear our feet, okay, and get to the ball. Now, again, for me, this drill is it doesn't have to be fancy, okay? One of the drills that I like to do is simply to get a step over bag, okay? And I will have my players get off and I will throw it at them, okay? Throw it at them like as in, get off as a pass rush, and then I will throw it on the ground as a cut block. Now that is exactly the movement that I want these guys to do in terms of getting off the ball, getting the hands down to get this step bag to the ground, clear their legs, and continue playing. That's exactly what I need. Don't really need to have them do anything else in my mind, because it gets exactly the desired movement that I want out of that play, out of that drill. Okay. So again, what is pad level? Okay. Just because a player is waist bending, okay, and bending over with his legs fairly straight, that is not pad level. Pad level is achieved with good knee bend, okay? Good knee bend, all right? We want to have our feet just inside our shoulders, okay? Don't be a waist bender, okay? We want to be able to take a positive first step. So a lot of times when players are bent over at the waist, very hard for them to take a real positive first step. But if they have a little bit of a lean, and you're in a 2-point, okay, and everything's in line, you can take a positive step. Your head's up and your eyes are up. Oftentimes with waist benders, okay, when they go to get off the ball, they have no knee bend. They pop straight up and they're playing high the entire play. Okay. So pad level in movement, okay, this is can be challenging sometimes because, as I mentioned earlier, you're oftentimes you're not moving the same way the play is going. Okay, so I like my players to work on in movement because it is a power move. Okay, get your chest up coming out of that rip to get square. Okay, get vertical and square. Okay. What that does for you is you get vertical in the gap, you get square, but you're in a position to to change direction, or you're in a position to make a play on the running back. Okay, if you don't get square, you can get washed. Okay, even after you've defeated that block, you can get washed down the line of scrimmage. You still need knee bend for pad level and change of direction. Okay, this movement, okay, requires a strong core and hip mobility to not lose your power as well. You want to keep that tension, okay, and that good stance on get off movement, so you don't lose that power by playing too tall. Okay, it's always not good. To play tall in the game. The best guys. Best players on the field can become average playing tall. Okay, we don't want to be too long in our stance. Okay, and definitely, like we mentioned, no waist bending. Okay, one of the things that you can do to help with this is implement some core and hip mobility exercises. Your get off is only as good as the strength in your core and mobility in your hips. So if we increase the strength and the mobility and the flexibility and all that, you're going to be a better player in movement, in pass rush, and everything you do on the field. So again, we're talking movement here. Okay, we want to be D tackles, as I mentioned earlier. We want to be in that good balanced stance, pressure on the inside of our feet. Okay. Pressure on the inside of the feet, D ends. In movement, we want to have the outside foot up because we're moving inside. Okay, so we can take that step. We want to make sure that we have a good enough stance, right? Stance affects your start, that you can take a positive first step and gain some ground and width. Okay, we want to rip and get vertical. Okay, don't run away from that block. Penetrate vertically. So sometimes players we have to stretch as coaches we want to get vertical. This is a power move. Okay, this is a power move. Okay, you can, in certain situations, you can use your quickness and maybe slap hands and those things, but if you want to remain consistent in movement, you know, that rip and getting vertical, okay, is the way to get it done. So that's the coaching points you want to focus on there. Okay, make sure you can penetrate vertically. Okay, and the other thing about movement is you know where you're going. Okay, we want to. This is you know, you want to see the ball. Okay, but okay, we want to be able to see that ball, key that ball, not your blocker on the snap. This is key the ball play where we know where we're going. We want to be able to get off and get going as efficiently and quickly as we can. Okay. And the other item is that to keep in mind and to coach up. If I'm a D end or a D tackle in a 3 technique and a D end on the edge, and I have to go inside, I need to understand. The thing is, when I line up, okay, I probably adjust my alignment a little bit, be a little tighter, but I have to understand that really, if the play is coming towards me in movement, I don't have far to go. Okay, I really don't. So this is my focus is on getting vertical. Okay, one of the things, the next clip there. The next thing is having some kind of aiming point when you go. Okay, one of the things that I coach up and to control how far or how long or big of a step the players take. Okay, is to make sure they can gain ground by, and the aiming point is my outside eye, I think their outside eye to their blocker's inside eye, and I want to get vertical through that spot, okay, to that aiming point. Okay, get vertical, rip, yeah, chest up and get square. Okay, that's the key to movement. Okay, if you're in movement in versus a pass, then maybe you can get into some hand, some in-out hand stuff. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, but to be consistent, especially for young players, that rip, okay, as I'm moving laterally and vertically and getting that chest up square is crucial. Okay, as I talked about, okay, if you're in movement going flow 2, so there's flow coming to you, I really don't have to go very far at all. My gap is coming to me. All right. Again, I want to rip and get vertical. Okay. Outside eye to inside eye. Flow away. Okay. Flow away for me. Okay. You know, I may have to crush that if I'm a DN, may have to crush that guard down, or the tackle in the 3 may have to crush that guard down if he's moving the same direction that he is. Okay, so flow 2 way doesn't. Anytime you're in movement, doesn't mean that the ball is going the same direction as you. So you may have to redirect, or you may have to crush a blocker, or maybe you can get clean and play fast, run everything down. Okay, we also have to have, you know, as a rapper, I consider that as part of movement as well. Okay. You have to have, as a rapper in movement, of course, the timing to know when to rap, but also you have to have a plan if there's a blocker there, okay, while having eyes for the quarterback. So you kind of have to have big eyes and see the whole thing. And if there is a blocker, you may have to, if there's no space there for you to actually rap, you may have to cross his face, or you may have to be prepared to slap his hands, or perhaps even bull and power him back to the quarterback. Okay. So of course hands are very important. Okay. But you can't have guys. You don't want players just throwing hands and not really knowing what that purpose is. Okay. Some of the basis here is you want to have quick hands to shoot and deliver a blow versus run. So, I want to be able to deliver a blow when I'm engaging a run block. So this is a powerful thing. Okay. So a lot of guys, perhaps at the high school level, they don't have the power to be able to physically displace a blocker or move the blocker by just delivering a blow with their hands. Okay. We don't want them, catching blocks. So when we do deliver a blow with our hands, we want to have our elbows in, our thumbs up. Okay, elbows in. We want to lock those elbows. Okay, want to lock those elbows. And we want our hands above our eyes. Okay, we want to aim for the top of the numbers. Okay, we want to be able to create some separation. Okay, one thing's for certain, if you've got an undersized player, okay, and he's trying to take on a bigger blocker, okay, we want him to play with good pad level. We want him to have quick hands to shoot and deliver a blow. It doesn't have to be powerful, but if he can shoot his hands and get those elbows locked on the engagement, it's better than catching that block and getting blown out of there, okay, and getting held, okay. All I can say is slow, soft hands versus run blocks get you blocked, because they're going to grab you, you're going to grab you around the shoulder, they're going to pull you down, do all those things. So we want to be able to get our hands, deliver a blow, get our hands in our opponent first, okay? In using hands a little bit more dynamic, versus pass, timing is still important, okay? When you use your hands, you want to be able to reach out and trap that hand, okay? A lot of times you're either going to trap the hand or wedge a hand, but mostly to start, they're going to be hand traps, okay? You'll wedge hands with a sweep, okay? We're just talking now about trapping the hand. That involves timing, because you want to be able to get that hand down, okay, and time it up in space when you're moving fast. Okay, when pass rushing, you want to be able to talk to your players and rep, making sure or go over in drills that they can hit what they're aiming at. Okay, you don't make sure they understand they don't want to be too close to where the blocker can reach out and grab or punch them. We want to be the ones, we want to be the ones reaching out to trap their hands. So one of the things to discuss is what to aim for and why do we do it. Okay, in a lot of the trap hand movements, the higher are you up on the arm, okay, the easier and better it is to control the arm. So we want to aim for like 2 to 3 inches above that elbow joint to 2 to 3 inches below. If we're aiming or if we're hitting down around the wrist of the arm, he's going to pull his hands back and reset the punch, okay? So you want to aim for that elbow joint to control the arm. Higher aiming point gives you more space to trap that hand down, okay, and give you time to replace with the other hand. So we're going to pin it with the trap and we're going to replace. So being able to hit that joint and control that arm is crucial. Okay, so hand drills, they're like get off, okay? They're almost everyday drills, and you should do some form of it at some time, okay? But in showing players, demonstrating how to use the hands, I like we can't sometimes do all of them, time permitting, but using the 4 Ds of demonstration, we want to be able to describe that technique, what we want them to do, okay, so that they understand, okay. I want to demonstrate that technique at full speed. Then I want to break it down into steps, 1, 2, 3, step by step, okay. Then we can explain why we're trapping at the elbow, okay, why we're flipping our hips, so to speak, okay. After we've broken it down, we give them a chance to do it. And you know, depending on how experienced your players are, you have a lot of younger guys. Okay, you may want to have what we call a controlled practice. Okay, so this is where you as the coach maybe have them in partners, and basically you're controlling that practice, that skill. So again, you've broken it down. It might be hit, 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 and you get the 3 different steps of a potential drill, or you can go 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we're going to move from that controlled practice to where they're getting comfortable with the movement, comfortable of even using their hands in that manner. Okay, we have what you call a free practice. Okay, so now they're on their own. Okay, now they're on their own, and they're using, you know, automatic execution. Okay, they're doing this thing. Okay, with their own speed, with the, you know, all the coaching points of pad level and get off and stance and things. And then we're going to debrief them, give them some feedback. So if you're wondering how to teach these drills or how to install something, that's a base method that you can use. If you have something, you know, better than that, hey, send it to me. I'd like to know. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to get into some pass rush techniques. I want to be able to talk a little bit about them. One of the big things that you're seeing players do now in the NFL, I mean, it's been around forever, but they're using really taking advantage of the in-out technique. Now, I call it in-out, but really it's a stick in, okay, back out, okay? So whether it's in-out or out-in, okay, you're creating movement. So we want to have good tempo of the feet. We stress good tempo of the feet and timing, okay, when engaging a blocker at that intersection point. So you're going to get off the ball, you're on that tilt, you're on that aiming point, okay? Right? We don't want to go too fast with the in-outs, okay? Because if you're getting off and you're in-out too fast, the guy doesn't have a chance to react. He'll just back up, okay? He'll just back up and wait on you to make a decision where you're going. So you want to be kind of deliberate with that movement to start out with, okay? We want the weight shift when you stick inside. We want him to shift his weight inside. He's got to protect his inside, okay? And one of the things that's really important with using the hands is to understand if you're running at speed to the intersect point and you stick, you do an instep, okay, that offensive lineman's hands are gonna come up to try to grab you. So one of the things that I teach is that you might be stepping inside, but you've got to visualize that outside hand, because that's a hand you may want to trap. Same and vice versa with other directions. Why is this technique? I feel so good about it, of using it and how it's expanded in the late years. Okay, you don't have to have blazing fast, you know, players with great speed. Okay, they can get off, but if they do a good job of selling an in or an out and creating some kind of weight shift, okay, then that's kind of erases the speed somewhat. Okay, it also attacking that inside foot of the blocker, okay, helps to shorten that edge. So if he's got to plant that inside foot, okay, and post it down, now we're coming at him with speed and off the stick. Now we can get to the edge, okay? Now we're on the edge. That helps to create a 2-to-1 advantage for us, for the defender, for your players, okay? So if we can get a 2-to-1 hand advantage, okay, that's good. You want that, okay? Like we mentioned, it creates confusion for blockers, for a blocker set, while maintaining, we maintain another tool, which is power, okay? So just think about it, okay? We see here in-out bull, so we're pass rushing, okay? He's expecting some kind of speed rush, probably, and we step in, we step out, then we're back into a bull or power rush. So now, he's kind of off balance potentially, and we attack him with power now. Obviously, we got to maintain good pad level and things, and something that he's not ready for. Okay, so really, as rushers, your players can control the timing of the blocker's hands. Okay, so that intersection point that you've heard me talking about, it's very hard to predict. It's dependent on the offensive lineman, but it's going to be 1 to 2 yards behind the lineman, especially on that tilt. But again, that's one of those adjustable things that they'll get comfortable with. Okay, so some of the in-out rush techniques that you can do, I'm just going to try to understand. I'm going to say it my words here. So we've got in-out. We've also got out-in. Okay, it's very simple. So the thing about the out-in is that we don't really have to fake outside. Okay, we don't really, that out step shouldn't go wide. It should just go hard and vertical up the field along your path. Okay, so that's out-in. Okay, and when we go in now, we should have a plan for his inside hand. We can try to trap that hand down, club that hand across and trap over some way. Okay, whichever you think is work good for your player. We also have the in stick. We stick back out. Okay, and then we're back in. So what we're expecting here is that we stick in, we get a weight shift. Now he assumes that you're going back outside on the edge. Okay, we stick out. We want to make sure that we gain ground with this, and then we're back inside because he's overset now. Okay, and vice versa. The out again with the hard stick, jab step, vertical. Okay, again back in, make him shift his weight. He may even commit, and we're back out again. And we also have to make sure that we have a plan for that, which hand can grab us if we're inside and working out, well, that outside hand. So we want to make sure that you drill to trap that hand or have a plan for that hand. Okay, there are some other rushes that are that have really become really dangerous for offensive linemen. Okay, that's what I like about this in-out platform. You can do so many things off of it. I call it a platform because I see this all as additional rush movements. Okay, so again, we talked about the in-out bull previously. Okay, you can also do the in-out in stab. Okay, so that's a little bit tricky footwork. It may take a little time for them to get. We want to make sure that on each stick in out that you're actually gaining ground. We don't want to kind of stick in place. Again, if we do that too fast, we might be encouraging the block. Okay, so we want to be able to on our stick. Okay, in, out, and in and stab to the chest again. Get our thumbs up, elbow locked in there on that stab, and we want to make sure that we are now powering with this one hand, powering the lineman directly back into the quarterback on that stab. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Again, your players get used to this, or you feel comfortable doing this. In, out, spin. So here we are now. I've stepped in. I stepped out. The lineman is going to commit. Hopefully oversets while I'm spinning back inside. Then we talked about the in, out, in bull. Okay, so the in, out, bull. In. So we talked about that previously. What it does is just that to me, it allows players that don't have great speed to be as effective as any other player on the field. Okay, the whole in, out, if you get the timing right, that you're not sort of in, out on the spot, but you're gaining ground while you're doing that. It's very effective, and O-linemen, you start getting them to shift their weight. They really don't know what you're going to do. Okay. So here we are talking about the stab. Okay. stab like bull is a power rush. Okay, you know, you want to align and on that tilt, and you can be a little bit more vertical on this if you understand. So we want to have that aiming point to if we've just changed our aiming point to a little bit more vertical. Okay, we want to race to that aiming point with the blocker now. Okay, we want to be in good body position, chest over our toes. Okay, we now take that inside hand and we want to shoot that hand and deliver a blow, thumbs up, try to lock that elbow in and press back inside directly to the quarterback. Now, what we hope is that on this stab, where we're trying to create space. So it's one of those rushes where the O-lineman's done a pretty good job. Okay, he's between you and the quarterback, and I'm going to add this to the repertoire now, to where I'm going to have to create space through this guy. That's the only way I can get to the quarterback. I'm going to create space through this guy by delivering a blow, thumbs up, lock that elbow, and press directly back to the quarterback with power. Okay, this requires quick hand placement. So you don't want to rush up the field. Okay, you don't want to rush up the field and long with your hand pointed out like you're showing him exactly what you're going to do. He's just going to trap your hands down, okay, or he's going to see it. Okay, we want to try to get him moving upfield with us on our takeoff and with quick hands deliver a blow. We want to make sure that we can get hands on our blocker first. Okay. Again, we're aiming at that top of the number. Sorry. Okay, so I have a little bit of a progression. We talked about creating space to blocker and run your feet. So you got to have your eyes up so you can hit what you're aiming at, of course, and you want to shoot that hand, but you want to really commit to that power. Okay, if we're trying to create space through our opponent. Okay, now if we get in that little bit more of a vertical aiming point, okay, and we do it by plan, what we're going to do here is now we want to do everything that we just did. Okay, we want to shoot that trap, stab hand. Okay, but now we're going to take our outside hand with a little bit more outside. Once I shoot that stab, I'm going to trap his outside hand off and continue on the edge. Now, I'm not trying to create space through him. I want to go around the edge. Okay, and also, same thing, the next drill, I think we're running out of time here. The next drill is I want to shoot that stab. Okay, there's a little progression. I shoot that stab, but now I take that stab hand and I just dip and rip underneath him. Okay, so there's some confusion then for the blocker whether we're going to try to create space. If he wants to stop his feet and plant, well, we're going to trap the hand and go around the outside, or we're going to take that trap hand and dip and rip around the corner. Okay. So in the bull rush or power rush, okay, remember your stance affects your start. Okay, we want to have a great takeoff, good pad level. Okay, we want to deliver a blow, elbows in, thumbs up. Okay, eyes up, hands above our eyes on contact. No waist bending, you're losing power. Okay, so those are some of the coaching points you want to emphasize. Okay, we want to have quick hands to shoot. We want to have them on our blocker first. A lot of linemen are very good, great players, but as a defender, if you get hands on them first, they become different guys. Okay, become different guys. So aim for the top of the numbers and deliver that blow. Run your feet and engage your hips for power. If you watch football on TV and you're seeing some successful bull rushes, okay, you'll see that once those hips engage, that's where the real power comes from. And they continue to capture ground, and create movement. Okay, we want to create separation. So we can actually tear off the lineman to the quarterback. We don't want them to be able to grab us. We don't want bent arms. We want the elbows in and locked. If our elbows are out like this, okay, we lose a lot of power, and we don't have remaining power to continue the thrust, okay? You want to be able to see the quarterback through your rush lane. And one thing about the bull, the power rush, your players have to commit to it. So when you're going to bull rush, okay, you're going to throw those hands and you're going to run your feet. Well, you got to mean it, okay? And you want to stay with it, okay? A lot of guys raise up out of the power angle to peak, okay? A lot of guys, players will try to tear off too soon. They think they've got to play on the quarterback. Most of the time, that's what usually happens. You want your players to commit to it and stay with that ball and find the quarterback. Okay, one thing about the bull rush, okay, what do you do if you are blocked? That guy's a good player too, potentially, okay? Get a hand up, especially if the quarterback's looking at you, and try to shot block, try to block that ball. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit of play action now, okay? A little bit of play action. Play action is one of the toughest things D linemen have to deal with on the field, okay? Obviously, it involves good pad level and quick hands. Want to be able to create separation with good hands and good hand placement, okay? And we want that separation before the shed. That's key. If that guy's grabbing you, it's going to be very, very hard to get off that block, okay, and affect the quarterback. So we don't want to stand up. We want to maintain good pad level and create that separation. So when we do recognize that it is play action, again, it's going to probably approach you aggressively and on the line of scrimmage. Okay, we don't want to stand up. We don't want to peek. That takes us out of our power. In fact, it helps us to stay low, as we'll talk about here. Okay, one of the things we could do against play action, you can really use a lot of your sheds versus run, okay? So we want to keep the separation with long arms. Here we're talking about that turn and punch. So again, this is a technique that players can use their entire body, and we don't want to be too high. Okay, we've got that hand position, and we're engaging the block. We want to be able to grab some cloth there, okay, violently drop our butt, and we want to pull that shoulder down to the direction we want to go. But if you pull it straight down, sometimes you pull that guy right into your feet. So if you coach up and talk to your players about pulling that elbow across to your other armpit, okay, this pulls them sideways, and using your butt allows smaller guys potentially to be able to defeat bigger guys, stronger players on that block. Okay, we're going to pull down, we want to flip our hips, and then we're going to punch through. Okay, punch hard enough through, and your back leg would come with you. Bring the back leg. That's where you win. That's you're creating the separation off your block. Okay, we want to dip and rip. If you have a big, strong player in there, they could possibly do this technique. This requires a lot of power, so I want to be able to blow out that blocker's shoulder in the direction that I want to go to my leverage. I want to blow that shoulder out, and then I want to rip underneath. Okay, so that's pretty simple. It's basic, but again, once again, it takes some power. Okay. Next one. Oh, that's the bull and pull. Yes, this is also another good shed, especially off play action pass and run. Okay, so we get in that bull position where we get our hands above our eyes, our elbows in, and thumbs up. Somewhat okay. I know it's not going to be perfect every time, but we're in that position. We want to be able to deliver a blow now, and when we recognize that it is play action pass, we want to bull, and then we're going to pull and shed the player down to the ground and continue to hopefully affect the quarterback's throw. So we have those are very simple things. We have the bull and pull, if you can go back, Tyler, the turn and punch and the dip and rep. Okay, next one. Thank you. So, going over a lot of things that I wanted to talk about today, and it's a little bit over, but I think that they were important. One of the things I think is really important is knowing how to practice. Okay, so that your players can be fresh. Okay, so that's a mindset that you want to do the things, as fast as you can. Okay, and be safe. Okay, we want to be able to have your players fresh. Okay, we want to be able to stay off the quarterback. Okay, we don't want to be hitting our own players in the head. We want to try to play fast, but be conscious of staying up. Okay, so we don't want, and likewise, we don't want to be throwing teammates to the ground in trying to play in practice. Okay, you can have a play fast tempo with no tackling. Okay, if you have a contact periods and clearly define those periods, and of course, stay off the quarterback. Okay, and also, in special teams. Okay, maybe you can have a little tempo and control. I know these kids are learning and they've got to do things full out, but maybe you control how much running they can do. Okay, you want your players healthy, rested, and ready to play come game day. Okay, some of these kids, at school, they're students, they have class, maybe they're not eating properly, so you can assist them eating and sleeping properly. You can assist them by controlling what you do at practice so that they're in the best shape that they can be to get going on game day. All right, guys, that's what I have for you. Sorry that was a little bit long. I really enjoyed talking to you today, and feel free if you can, want to contact me and through the club, and I'll answer any other questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Absolutely. I do have a few questions that
sure.
Let me ask you. First one is there a drill you recommend for young players that linemen and linebackers work together in harmony?
Say that again, sorry?
Is there a drill that you recommend for young players to to help with linemen and linebackers to get to work together in harmony?
Yeah, you can do, you can work like half a line, the nose and the Q, the DN on the weak side with the linebacker, and you can work the backside rules. Potentially, if you're chasing that DN, you can work together on the linebacker being able to sell. He's inside to the tackle and wrapping outside to make a play. The different plays you can work on, half line. What happens when the quarterback pulls the ball? Okay, you can work fits. Slow it down, work it half line, make sure that the players know where they're supposed to be. And again, it doesn't have to be full out, okay? But those are little drills for techniques. I don't know what systems that you have, but in movement, things like that, where people are changing gaps, you can break it down half line, or you can do it, work to doing it full out.
Great. Got one more question here.
Yep.
When it comes to motivating young athletes, is there a tool to motivate players who have the talent but not necessarily the drive or work ethic to be successful?
Right. I always believed in that buying into the team aspect. Okay. And, it's upon us to possibly have some team building things, things that we do, maybe even eating, or maybe having some competitions on the field, but trying to be inclusive with everybody, encourage the players. It's not necessarily a good thing to crap over players. You know, if they make a mistake, okay, I think you want to sort of not nurture them, but you want to have positive feedback more so than you do negative feedback. Now, you know, if they're not motivated, you have to get other players to motivate them. Okay. One of the things that I do believe in them, right? We can say the things necessary to help motivate players, but if they're not invested, okay, if they're not invested enough in being sharp, being, you know, feeling good about what they're doing on the field, it's really difficult. My thing is to maybe have other players talk to them. Okay, the team building. Okay, you know, maybe I will talk to them. You know, you can talk to them and encourage them. Okay, I think having players buy into that team aspect, you know, that feeling they don't want to let their teammates down. I think that's kind of thing that's very important as well. But a lot of motivation comes from within that person. But if you make that a really positive environment where they want to be involved and you know, they're coached up and not super yelled at, I can only hope that they would react positively.
Great. Thanks, Coach Blugh.
Thank you.
So that wraps up tonight's Coach's Playbook. We hope that you can join us next Wednesday, October 28th, for receivers and defensive backs with Coach Jason Tucker and Coach Ryan Phillips. Once again, my name is Tyler. Thank you for joining us tonight on the BC Lions Coach's Playbook series, and have a great night, everyone. Take care.